Nice to see you.
It's so great seeing you.
Good to
I
see
saw
you.
the premiere went really well last night,
Oh
so I'm really happy
yeah,
for you.
it was so
Great.
good, but so fun, so
Yeah.
glitzy, so fun.
Well, let's get into it here. So, in talking about how successful Past Lives was and how incredible that whole just run was, it still was, surprisingly, your directorial debut.
Mhm.
So, what lessons as a director, because we all know you're a brilliant writer, what lessons as a director did you take from that then you were able to apply when you went to go direct Materialists?
Well, I think that I learned well, like how to make a movie completely. So to me, I'm like every single thing that I learned in past lives is in Materialist because everything I learned about making a movie at all is literally what's in Materialist because I was then able to walk into making that movie as somebody who knows how to make a movie, right? Which
Mm,
past lives didn't ha get to have because it's first time, right? So
yeah.
I think that in that way, I think it's so holistic. I think it's like, yeah, of course, it's just teaching me that. The other thing that I know is true is that I think that I kind of walked in with a faith that um, love is such a universal theme. So something that I
Mm,
noticed that like as I was releasing past lives is that it didn't matter who you were, you were going to feel connected to the feeling of it, to the conversation about love. And so I could kind of walk into making materialists very confidently that it is something that we all want to talk about because of what
yeah.
in past lives. It's so funny because people who you wouldn't maybe necessarily like expect to be want to be interested in talking about like love and feelings and dating, like sometimes they will like have a hushed voice and talk to me about what they felt about the movie, and that made me just go like, yeah, it's a thing that haunts all of us. Love is something that we all want to talk about all the time. So when I was making Materialists every day, I just knew that like, yeah, I think that everybody wants to really talk about it. It's you want it to be an actual conversation and not just like, like whatever. It's like, no, it's a very serious and a very committed conversation we all want to have with love and feelings. Yeah.
That kind of feeds into one of the big takeaways I had when I watched the film, which was a lot of times in romantic films, whether it's a rom-com or a romantic drama, the characters' conflict usually stems from being unable to talk about their feelings, and
Oh,
someone is emotionally disconnected, shuts down, and there's just a lack of communication where your characters really tackle these themes and these feelings head on and have very adult conversations. It feels taboo, but it shouldn't be to
yeah.
openly express and talk about these things. But I really would just love and appreciate that this movie does not shy away from that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think that there are so many conversations that change your life. I mean, you have
Hmm.
like a few times in our lives, but I feel like there are conversations in our lives that changes us completely. And I think that it's like, well, when it comes to depicting a conversation that changes somebody, I think that it is completely worthy of cinema in that way. Because I think that it is also possible that, like I think the fantasy of I think a great romantic comedy in general, but also like the fantasy that I know that I'm playing into is the fantasy of all of us being articulate, clear, very good at communication. Because what an amazing
Yeah.
thing. Like I'm like, well, how amazing that we can express our feelings and the things that we want to work out so clearly, right? Without it becoming a screaming match or anything like that. But we're just able to just like hash it out together. Like what a wonderful thing. So I'm like, I think it's like a beautiful fantasy. Like, it wouldn't take us like 3 hours. You can do it in 10 minutes in movies, Like
Right. Right.
what a cool thing. But also like I think that like my favorite movies are the ones where the conversation is very good. And then you walk into the conversation as somebody who is different than the person who comes out. I think that to me
Yeah.
is really like um it's what I love to see on screen. So I feel like that's why I want to make a movie full of them, full of great conversations.
I completely agree with you on that. It's very obvious to cast someone like Pedro Pascal as a what is described as a 10 out of 10 single male living in New York City. That I understand. But tell me why Chris Evans then? Because, you would think that for the more down to earth theater nerd who's living in New York City, maybe an unknown actor or something like that. But we're talking Captain America, mega movie star Chris Evans. What qualities did he possess that made him right for this role?
Well, I think about this so much because in my movie there's a line, I'm not merchandise, I'm a person.
Hmm.
Thing is, like, the thing about that line is that, like, I think that's a line that every actor understands, as you can
Yeah.
imagine. And I think that every actor in my movie would probably understand. I think that there is a merchandise of Chris, and then there is a person. And all I'm
Mm.
interested in is the person. The thing is, like, when I met Chris, I think the thing that was very clear to me is that he's a John. You know? You meet him, and I mean, I feel like if you get a chance to talk to him, you just talk to him for like 5 minutes, and you're like, oh man, you're a John, you know? And I think, of
Yeah.
course, like that is so different than in the way that the values and the whatever, the Hollywood of it or whatever. I think the truth is that Chris as a person, Chris as a guy, right? He
Hmm.
has so much, he's such a soul match to the character, John. So it was really, I don't think that I could have even felt so inspired by it unless I had met him. Because I was just meeting him just because I'm a big fan of his work and he watched Past Lives and we wanted to just meet and hang out and we did. And I think that within the first like 5 minutes of it, I think I was just feeling like, oh my God, you're like say what one will about the merchandise of Chris. As a person, he's a John. As a
Yeah.
beautifully, you know, beautifully humble and beautifully passionate and just beautifully like I don't know, just like a like a total sweetheart, you know. I think that that to me is like a really like a it's a beautiful discovery that I get to do. Yeah, and I feel like
Yeah.
similar thing with Pedro. I feel like it's like for Pedro, it is so much more about the way that you know, like how everybody thinks that he's 10 out of 10 and everything, and also how he feels about himself. I think that's
Mm.
that the beautiful like very poetic tension between those two things is really what makes him right for Harry. It's never gonna be because of the again, it's never about the merchandise, it's about the person, right? And I would say that
Yeah.
about Dakota as well. Dakota too. Like Dakota is like when you meet her, you're like, oh yeah, you're Lucy. You care so so much, and then you're also um and also you have this beautiful shell that is so like beautiful when it cracks, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
The film explores dating in a 2025 like sense as this currency driven system where we're swiping based on materialist items of wealth and status and height and so on and so
yeah.
forth. Did you want to make a movie that
Hmm.
challenge the traditional sense of love or affirm that it is something that is still capable in today's society?
I think I just wanted to affirm. I feel like there's
Yeah.
nothing like that is worthy of affirming than power of true love, right?
Hmm.
Because the thing is like, you know, like it is so easy to be cynical. I think cynicism is
Yeah.
really fun. You know, like we can all be like, "Ugh, I don't even believe in love." So I think that as a result, I think that it's really interesting. Everybody feels more what is it, comfortable having a fantasy about what is that thing? It's like the I want a guy in finance, 6'5", blue eyes. Do you know the meme, the TikTok meme? Do you know about this?
Basically everything I don't have. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who has it, right? It's like this thing that everybody's talking about. Like it's like that is actually the imagining a perfect unicorn, imagining a 10 out of 10. Imagining that guy exists is easier to do than to believe that there's true love that is possible for you in your life. To have
Mm,
hope for that is harder because it feels like it's something you cannot control and you can't, right? Think about all the plastic surgery, think about all the like, you know, like the Instagram filter, everything, like everything that we do to commodify ourselves and objectify ourselves. So much of that has to do with the way that we completely you know, you know, we want to turn ourselves into a product, into a merchandise,
yeah.
right? And then of course, none of those things have anything to do with the feeling of love. There's nothing to do with it at all, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. So now two films, romance dramas about love and about human connection. Is this a theme you want to continue doing in your future work? Are you looking to move on to something else? What does the future hold for you?
Well, I feel like I can only just make the movies that I feel like making at the time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I wish I could game it and like know see the future and everything, but at the end of the day, I just have to make something that I know that like I care about so much because that's the only way I have. That's the only shot I have at making a movie, right?
Yeah.
That is that
And
I
I think we can all feel that when we watch your
yeah.
work.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like I have to care about the things that I want to talk about very deeply for me to commit myself to it for years and years, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Celine, it's always a pleasure. I can't
Thank you
wait
so
to
much. So fun. I
hopefully.
can't wait to run into it things again.
I was going to say, I hope I bump into you. I know I will
Cool.
at some point, whether it's
You know
you,
what?
Justin.
We'll next week. We'll see each other next week probably somehow. You know what I mean? We'll go
Exactly.
and we'll run into each other. Thank you so much.
All
It's such a
right.
good conversation, darling.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.